Hello. Did you like the film? Please welcome the director, Byron Howard.
Wow. Hi, everybody. How are you? This is awesome. Okay, wait. I want to take your picture. Can we bring the house lights up so I can take their picture? Hold on a second.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, you got to smile. All right, you back there. Last row, smile. Ready? Hold on. Hold on. And try this. All right. All right, now I'm going to do a selfie. Hold on. All right. All right, ready? Ah! You look awesome. You weren't smiling back there.
Okay, Byron. Hope School. Mr. Baker's fifth grade wants to know, what was your inspiration for the movie?
Well, so I've been working for Disney Animation for about 25 years. So before your parents were born, I've been working for Disney Animation, and I've always loved Disney animated films, especially Disney animated animal films. Like, I grew up on films like The Jungle Book and Robin Hood. You know Robin Hood? Anyone know Robin Hood? Yeah. So that was always one of my favorites, and so about 5 years ago, I directed another movie called Tangled, and did you see Tangled? That's good. Okay, good. That's good too. But I talked to John Lasseter, my boss, and I said, John, we should do another animal film where they're talking, and he said, I will support any movie that features animals running around in tiny clothes. So he thought that was a great idea. So we said, okay, we're going to do this, but we're going to make an animal movie like no one's ever seen before, and he had us do about an entire year of research, including sending us all the way to Kenya, Africa. So they sent us all the way to Kenya, Africa, where we wandered around the savannah, and where there were lions there were gazelle and zebra. It was amazing. So that was the initial inspiration for the film.
Actually, Sophia from Roosevelt School, Mrs. Barr's class, has a follow-up question. When your team went to different places to do your research, what was the most exciting place and why?
Well, I guess I would have to say the most exciting place we got to go was Africa, because they flew about 14 of us, animators and art directors, and even the head of Look, a woman named Michelle Robinson, who was in charge of putting the fur on every single animal that you see in Zootopia. They're all mammals in Zootopia, so everybody's got fur. And there were rabbits and zebra and lions, and all the fur is different, so we got very close to the animals. We also had our cinematographer with us, who is our director of photography. His name is Nathan Warner, and we found out that Nathan is actually delicious, because every animal in Africa bit Nathan. He was bitten by an ostrich, a zebra, and I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, and there was a cheetah. There was a cheetah that leapt on him and bit him a little bit. But he's fine. He's all good. But it was a very good, informative trip.
And Christian from the Roosevelt School wants to know, what do you think are the most important lessons people can learn from Zootopia?
Well, I got to say, I saw your artwork backstage, and thank you guys so much for doing that. I was so amazed and impressed by that. I think they're going to bring it out. Are they going to bring out the artwork?
We're going to bring out the artwork.
Can we bring out some of the artwork that you guys did?
Yeah.
And this was amazing to me. I love all this stuff. Look at this. This is crazy. Look at this parade of you're very talented artists and artwork. I love that one of the young women on this one, there's one here that says, I believe I can be an immunologist, which is it's a very specific doctor, which is great. But all this stuff is amazing, and all the messages that you guys wrote up here are exactly what we were trying to get across with the movie, that you can do anything you want, you can be anything you want. The fact that when you treat other people with respect, despite where they're from or what they look like, and not judge people for these fears that people have, I think that's awesome. And if you're okay with it, only if you're okay with it, I'd like to take these with me back up to Burbank to show the 1,000 people who worked on this movie how amazing you guys are. Would you guys be okay with that? Because that would be incredible. So you guys were I love seeing all of this, and the fact that you guys are so smart, talented, thoughtful. I love that on that sheet where you're telling me like what you want to be, that nobody's the same. Everyone wants to be something different, and it doesn't matter who you are. So I think that's just terrific. So I'm so proud of you guys. So thank you guys thanks for being awesome. You're awesome.
Mrs. Baudet's class wants to know, why did you choose Judy to be a police officer?
That's a really good question. So when we were talking about making the movie years and years ago, we thought, okay, what animals should we use? And we thought, well, a little bunny wanting to be a police officer is kind of funny, because little bunnies aren't the type that would be thought of as being big and tough. Like in Zootopia, you can tell all the cops are big, tough animals like rhinos and Cape buffalo and elephants, big, tough animals. So a little rabbit wanting to kind of step outside of what rabbits normally do is great for the story, because the story is about bias and people not understanding other people. And so she's going to run into a lot of problems when she gets to the big city and figures out that, well, not everybody thinks I can be a cop. And you can even hear that, like, bunnies don't like to be called cute. You know, some other bunnies can call some bunnies cute, but when other people do it, it's not as nice. And so when Judy gets to the city, she figures out pretty quickly that she's going to have to work extra hard to prove herself. And that's what I love about her. I love that Judy, like, never, ever gives up. She always is so determined and really wants to make a difference in the world. And that's why she tries so hard.
And again, also from Mrs. Baudet's class, they want to know about Nick. And did you like the movie idea better when Nick was the main character? I guess they know something.
Oh, you guys have been doing your research. Yeah, so at one point, about 2 years ago, the movie was actually very different. The movie was actually told from Nick, the fox's point of view. And in that version, the city was very broken. There was two sides, the mammals, the predators versus the prey. And the problem is that the city was just not a very appealing place. Like, the audience would watch the movie and no one wanted Nick to stay in the city. They wanted him to just get out of there. So one of the things we did was we flipped the movie so that it became Judy's central story, and she's the one who kind of carries you through the film. Even though Nick and Judy are both the central two characters, it really did become about sort of Judy's journey and about Judy kind of learning about herself and figuring out that this whole issue with prejudging people is something that even a very smart, very forward-thinking young rabbit can experience, because she has to figure that out for herself.
Mm-hmm. And Andrew Janigian. Andrew, are you here?
Andrew, woo!
Okay. He wants to know. He wants to know, what is your favorite animal, and did you include it in the movie?
Oh, well, you know, my favorite animal. Now that this movie has come out, I love foxes. I wanted a fox when I was a kid. I begged my father to get me a fox. I wanted a real live fox as a pet, and he kept saying, no, we'll get a dog instead. But I was very insistent. I wanted a fox, and he said no for about a year, and I would not let up. I kept pestering him. I was about maybe 7 or 8 years old. Finally, he took me to a zoo where he had the zookeeper bring out a real fox, and I learned that foxes are really hyper, like they're just kind of like always all over you, and they're very and they're not good pets. And so my father made a good point. So at that point, we just got a dog, and I was happy from that point on. So.
Okay. Carver from Ms. Brown's 5th grade class wants to know, why did you make the sheep evil?
Oh, the sheep. Well, you know, the sheep in the movie, I guess you could say that the sheep are not all of the sheep are evil, but they kind of, a lot like sheep in the wild, they kind of follow their leader. And this is a very interesting fact. Bellwether, the name Bellwether, if you look at this up on Wikipedia, if people who work with sheep know this, like a bellwether is a very smart sheep in the herd, and usually they put a bell on that sheep because she tends to lead the rest of the herd. So that's why we named Bellwether, who's the villain in this movie, Bellwether, because she's like the smart sheep, and so that's why the rest of the sheep follow her. Yeah.
Okay, and Tiago wants to know, how did you come up with the idea to make a film with animals behaving, talking, and using resources like humans?
Well, you know, that all came from Robin Hood. Again, like I looked back at Robin Hood, and we talked about it, and the really fun thing about this movie, as you guys know, is that these guys use cell phones, and they have modern technology just like us. They have to go to work. There are lawyer animals, there are doctor animals, there are police officer animals, and so anything that we experience in our world, they experience too. So we thought that was a very fun thing to say, and that's even true of like sloths at the DMV. You guys are too young to know what the DMV is like, but trust me, in a couple of years, you're going to know. And you're going to wait in line there, and you'll see why that scene's so funny. You'll see why your parents are laughing so much.
And the Hollister School wants to know, about the name Zootopia. Yeah. Why did you name the movie Zootopia?
Oh, that's a very good question. So why did we name the movie Zootopia? Well, I thought it would be great to combine something about animals with something about a grand, idealized city. And if you look up the word utopia, that means a city that is a perfect, wonderful paradise of a city. So we thought we'd combine utopia with zoo from animals, but overseas we found out for some reasons, legal reasons, we couldn't use that in Europe. So in Europe it's actually called Zootropolis, and in most of European countries. But then in Germany, we found out we couldn't use Zootopia or Zootropolis, so it's called Zoomania over there. And then in China, we couldn't use any of those, and so over there, it's called Crazy Animal City. It's true, it's real true.
Hope School wants to know, does the movie reflect any parts of your personal life?
I think so. You know, I think I relate a lot to both Judy and Nick, but a lot, really, honestly, a lot to Judy, because even thinking about what I wanted to do 25 years ago, I really wanted to be a Disney animator more than anything in the whole world. And I moved all the way from Washington State, where I was going to school, down to Florida, where they were building a new animation studio. And I thought, oh, I'll just get right in. I thought I was very talented, and I did a lot of drawings, and I thought, I'll just get right in. And it actually took me almost 2 years to get into Disney animation, and I got rejected 5 times. So I kept applying. They kept saying no, 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 over and over again. But just like Judy, I think I stuck with it, and finally, I think I wore them down. So they finally let me in, and I think that's something that I really take to heart. Is like, no matter, if you really care about something, dedicate yourself to it. If it's something you love, just stick to it, and ask for help. I asked for help, and a lot of people helped me with my drawings. They helped me with putting portfolios together, and even now, like, I work with great people. You know, Ron and John, who directed Moana and The Little Mermaid and Aladdin. They're directors who I work with, and I admire these guys. Jennifer Lee, who directed Frozen with Chris Buck. Jennifer helped us on Zootopia. So we're a big team at Disney. We all help each other, and even if it's not our own film, we pitch in to help each other finish our films and make them better.
And Christian wants to know.
Hi, Christian.
How is it different? I'm sorry, it was actually Katie.
Hi, Katie, not Christian. Like, it's Katie's question.
How is directing an animated movie different from directing a regular movie?
That's a good question. So directing an animated movie, the reason I love it is because I get to be a part of every little bit of the film from the very beginning, when it's just this little teeny idea, just the first little idea on a blank sheet of paper, all the way through to moments like this, like a year after the film has come out, and I get to share it with you guys. And we've gotten to go around the world. We've gotten to go to Asia and South America and Africa and just show this film to millions and millions of people. And I'm constantly in awe of the people I work with. We work with the best artists, the best screenwriters, great voice talent like Jason Bateman, Jennifer Goodwin, Idris Elba, Octavia Spencer, all these great people. And throughout that whole process, I get to be part of that. I get to be kind of a fly on the wall and kind of really interact with these people as we go. And I learn a ton every time we do a new movie. Like, I learned a ton about fairy tales on Tangled. I learned a ton. When I worked on a film called Mulan, I learned a ton about China on Mulan. I worked on Lilo and Stitch years ago. I learned a ton about Hawaii. Yeah, Lilo, yeah, that's great. So every time, it's like going to school for a couple years, and so now I know a ton about animals. So anything you want to know about animals, I can answer that for you. So just write in, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, and actually, they want to know, how difficult was it to imitate the animals, and how long did it take you to do that?
Well, that's a good question. We have a group of about probably 60 or 70 animators at Disney, and they work on every film, and they're very particular. They're very detail-oriented, so they will watch animals and they'll try to record in their brains how each animal moves. And if you watch, giraffes we saw in Africa, when you see them run, they actually look like they're running in slow motion because their legs are so long. And so if you see giraffes in the movie running, it's just like that. Gazelles don't just like walk across the plaza in Zootopia, they kind of bounce across. And so every animal has its specific movement. And just like Nick and Judy, like Judy, being a rabbit, she'll do this thing, it's called binkying. And it's called, binkying is when a rabbit will jump and kind of spin in the midair. And there's one point in the movie where a rhinoceros is walking along the street and almost steps on Judy, and she'll do that little rabbity thing, and she'll kind of hop out of the way. And so we thought, it'll be interesting to kind of keep them more or less human when they're doing acting, like I am now. But when they're scared or tense, then they'll go more into their sort of animal instincts. And the animators had a great amount of fun with that.
Well, we have another group coming in to watch Zootopia, so we have to wrap this up. Let's give a big round of applause to Byron.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you again for this. These are amazing. And thank you so much, and awesome. Thanks for coming out.